Guys, what is going on? If you have never been on my channel or never watched any of my videos, definitely subscribe to my channel. If you're watching on YouTube, comment below during this live or even later if you're watching the video when it's not live. Obviously, I'm a real estate agent here in Northern Virginia where we talk about all things DC, Northern Virginia real estate related, and whatever I want to talk about. So right now, the first biggest story is the toll lanes have finally opened up on 66. So the other day I was just driving today. Well, they've actually opened up about 2 weeks ago, but for now they're actually going to start charging. So they start in Gainesville, right kind of by where the gym is, the huge Lifetime Fitness over that way. And they go all the way into Centerville right now. Then eventually they will open up from Centerville all the way into the Beltway. But I want to know below what you guys think. Was this something that you guys expected to happen so quickly? I guess apparently they got this. Let me share my screen here. They actually got this done in time and under budget, which is pretty amazing. And right here's an article from the Post. But I did see a post the other day online where somebody was saying it was like $30 now to drive from into the Beltway into DC. So some of the prices have been pretty crazy. Now, keep in mind, if you do want, you can ride HOV in the hot lanes, but you have to have the new thing. You have to have HOV switched on and it'll be free. So that's how they're actually checking that. So you will need that new thing, but it officially started today where they're collecting a toll from Gainesville all the way into Centerville. The other thing is I got on it from Gainesville yesterday, and it literally forces you to go into Dallas Airport if you're going towards DC or Dallas. So you can't get off like going towards Centerville the other way. So you got to make a complete U-turn, and a bunch of people were doing that, trying to figure that out. So definitely keep that in mind. But I want to know what you guys think. They got this thing done under budget, which is like unbelievable. But who knows, what will happen in the future. And the speed limit went up from 55 to 65 all the way up to 70. So it's going to have this variable thing that 95 has as well. So that is officially opened. Let me know what you guys think. Another story that I have been following that's been blowing my mind, living here in Prince William County, there is this huge data center influx, and I have not seen people so mad since Disney tried to come here, and people are really, quote unquote, pissed, I guess, about this new data center park, which is right next to where I live as well. There was a hearing event, and it went on till like 5 a.m. where people were talking. And I guess apparently now not everything that the board got to hear was in all the notes or the public got to talk about. So they've delayed the vote again. Part of the controversy is the Gainesville, Virginia supervisor, Gainesville, Prince William County supervisor is in on, he has land that's being for sold, so he can't vote on it. So that is another huge thing going on. So that thing has been delayed. Nobody knows when the vote will go on. But some of these people have been getting like $1 million an acre. And I've heard in Loudoun, it's going all the way up to a couple $1 million an acre. But as we know with some of these data centers, Loudoun has had some issues with getting power there. And I've heard they're kind of tapped out with some of these data centers getting power. But let me know in the comments below what you guys think about that. And then finally, as I'm doing just a quick live here, and like I said, if you're watching later on, definitely subscribe. Or if you have any real estate questions, shoot me a message. I want to talk about the market because a lot of people have been asking me about it. They're seeing, some people think they're seeing more signs, or they really aren't. And then they're also talking about, well, hey, the interest rates have gone up. The Fed actually just raised the rates again, which really doesn't affect the real estate rates for a couple months. But you know what? They're officially over 6%. And when I bought my house in 2009, my rate actually was 6.5, but the house actually almost doubled in value since then. That's one thing I want people to definitely think about for sure. If you are thinking about buying a house, I always say, marry the house, not the mortgage. But you know what? Let's talk about like the actual data for the market as we are right now. And I have a newsletter, and I'll put the link below where I discuss what's going on with the market. But nationwide sales, actually the previous 12 months, we had 4.75 million sales. But then the year before that, we had 6.2 million sales. So sales are down pretty significantly. That's almost like 30%, which you'll see in our local area here as well. Obviously, the Fed had really significantly cut interest rates. I read the other day, or I was on a call the other day, about 80% of all home loans are under 4% in this country. So a lot of people are not going to be wanting to sell or move when they have that great rate. That's why I've told some people, look, if you've got a good deal, you don't owe that much on your house, and you have to move, maybe consider owning it or keeping it as an investment property if that's something that you can do. But nationwide, sales are down 30%. But let's talk about the actual Washington, D.C. market and what are the actual numbers. And so I decided to pull all that. In Alexandria, Arlington, Loudoun, and Fairfax, the average listings, so meaning like new listings that came on the market, though, are also down 30% year over year. So there's still a pretty low inventory. So the challenge is, if you're a home buyer, you're already dealing with low inventory. And then on top of that, the housing prices are very high. Rent is extremely high as well. And now you're talking 6 to 7% interest rates. And a lot of people have asked me, Chris, do you think the market's going to crash? Do you think we're going to be like the mid 2000s and a meltdown? One thing I always tell people is you have to remember, back then, they were giving loans to pretty much anybody. For the last 10 to 12 years, it has been very strict, very hard to get a loan. Plus, many homeowners have plenty of equity in their house. So that's one thing. But like, think about it. If you're a new buyer or you're just moving to our area, specifically where the average sales price is 600,000 to 700,000, now you're dealing with a 6.5% rate, where before it would have been like 3 and a low inventory. It makes it challenging, but there are different types of things you can do. You can do an ARM. Some lenders are doing these crazy buy downs, and it's not anything shady or what we saw before. There's a lot of paperwork and things that go through it, but there's definitely different options. The other thing, just talking about too, Prince William County saw a drop of 24% in new listings, and Fauquier was down 18%. So still a lot less, about a quarter less houses coming up for sale. The weird thing is, though, the average days on market really has only ticked up a little bit. So houses are still selling pretty quick. What you're not seeing, though, anymore are people waiving inspections or the bidding wars. Those are pretty much gone. A lot of sellers, though, from what I can tell, really overpriced their houses and now are starting to have to do some reductions. But Arlington, the average days on market was 23 for August, Prince William 15, Fauquier 23, Alexandria 18, Loudoun 16, Fairfax 18. Now, keep in mind, once you get to about 3 to 6 months of inventory, you officially enter a buyer's market. So technically, we are still in a seller's market. The one thing I will tell you is the builders, though, have a lot of pent-up inventory. They are really in a buyer's market. If you're thinking about buying a new home, you can actually get a really good deal. They're starting to give a lot of incentives, different things as their year end comes around. So definitely keep that in mind as well. But like I said, a lot of these builders, with all the COVID delays, staffing shortages, and all that, building new houses kind of went under delay. But one thing I always tell people is, driving around here, we don't really have too many new construction developments unless you get into some of these condo neighborhoods, which I did some videos on in Fairfax. And you're looking at $500,000 to $600,000 for a little tiny condo. And you can come out to the suburbs and get a huge townhouse for that. So I think that's going to be a challenge for them going forward. Let's talk about medium sold prices for our area, where we did see Alexandria City ended up kind of being an outlier, or their prices are actually down 9% with a medium sales price of $543,500. Does not surprise me at all, to be honest with you. Alexandria has a huge condo market. Condos are usually the first ones to get hit, especially when you're talking high-rise condos with high condo dues, limited parking, all that. But the weird thing is, this is where things get a little weird. Fairfax is up 5%. Prince William is up 8% with a median price of $506,000. Loudoun is up 7%, $660,000. Arlington was up 1.5%, again a huge condo market, to $639,000, $450,000, and then Fauquier was up 3%, $535,000. So the other weird thing is active listings. Fairfax and Fauquier are seeing the lowest number of houses actively for sale they've had in decades. So that is also interesting, as well, as we start to see this market slow down. But like I said as well here, new construction is definitely struggling, what I'm seeing. And of course, I always tell people, a lot of these builders ask prime prices. And that really hurts them when they're building these new houses. Then people get crazy with options. If you're thinking about buying a new house, definitely talk to me first. And then, like I said, on this past Wednesday, the Federal Reserve raised at 75 basis points, which is almost another percent. So you're going to start to see some more of that rise as well. But I am optimistic about our area in general. We did not have a huge spike during COVID of people moving in here like some of the other areas like Austin, Texas, or Florida or Georgia had, and they started building a ton of new homes. We just did not have that here. The other thing I saw that really blew my mind was Washington, D.C. is the #1 market for people working from home close to their jobs. So that's going to really help a lot of the suburb areas, especially in Maryland and here in Virginia, and even out to West Virginia as well. I know some of them had some challenges with high-speed internet usage and all that as well. So just wanted to go live for you guys if I can figure out how to do this layout here and just give you a quick update on these hot lanes, all the data center stuff, and also the current state of the real estate market. If you are thinking about buying or selling, definitely hit me up. If you have any questions at any time, let me know. You can shoot me a text on my cell, my personal cell, 571-437-7575. Definitely subscribe, and I will see you guys at the top or from the top. Have a great weekend.